How's it going, everyone? YouTube Corey here, aka Crasher, back with a new video, and ladies and gentlemen, we are back with a type of video I didn't think I would be making this soon, and to be more specific, I was not expecting to see this take place. We have ourselves a Smogon OU Suspect Test for the Pokemon Spectrier. Wow. Now, before we go into the video any further, I want to state for the record that what I'm going to be stating are nothing more than my own opinions and observations based on the Pokemon and my own experiences with it. So feel free to agree, feel free to disagree. This is a discussion-based video, so if you agree, great. If you disagree, great. Please let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Spectrier Suspect Test for Smogon OU. Now, let's begin. So let's begin here. Spectrier has been an extremely restrictive presence for team building due to its offensive prowess, setup opportunity, and incredibly high speed. The horse boasts an incredible base 145 special attack, the third highest out of any Pokemon allowed in OU, following Xurkitree and Blacephalon. However, despite its stronger predecessors, Spectrier is the only one of these Pokemon considered highly viable in OU due to its typing and exceptional base 130 speed. This allows it to outspeed the vast majority of non-scarfed and unboosted Pokemon, while faster Pokemon like Zeraora and Dragapult struggle to deal with it defensively. The horse also has access to its signature ability Grim Neigh, which grants it a special attack boost after KOing a Pokemon. This allows for snowball potential, enabling Spectrier to gain traction quickly. With that being said, Spectrier is not without flaws. Spectrier does have a major downside in its incredibly shallow attacking coverage. However, the combination of its exceptional stats and typing make it incredibly difficult to play around and forces teams to run Pokemon that would not be as common if not for the horse. So the first paragraph is pretty self-explanatory. It goes over some of the things that Spectrier has going for it, such as its base 145 special attack comboed with 130 speed. Damn, that Pokemon already has a lot of kick to it as well, and it also has a signature ability called Grim Neigh, which is a special version of Moxie. So whenever you were to get a KO against the opponent, your special attack would get a +1 boost, causing you to potentially snowball into an unstoppable, just crazy Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Like, this Pokemon definitely has a lot going for it. However, there is something that is very, very major that has going against it, and that would be its very, very shallow offensive move pool. I mean, all it really has to work with in terms of move types would be its ghost type moves, such as the likes of Shadow Ball and Hex, dark type moves like Dark Pulse, ground type moves like Mud Shot, and normal type moves like Hyper Beam. And if you ask me, that's not exactly a lot of coverage when it comes to a Pokemon that is meant to be a sweeper, that's supposed to be threatening in my honest view. Spectrier's primary set revolves around setting up for itself and sweeping. The main moves include Substitute and a boosting move in Calm Mind or Nasty Plot. The third move is Shadow Ball, a solid 80 base power stab move, or Hex, a 65 base power stab move that doubles if the target has any status. Whether or not Spectrier uses Hex is reliant upon its final move. For its final move slot, Spectrier typically chooses between Will-O-Wisp and a coverage move that would allow it to hit normal types. A second attacking move would usually be Dark Pulse, but people have used Hyper Beam as well to get important KOs on Hydreigon. The goal of this set is to set up on a Pokemon that is threatened out or cannot touch Spectrier. This can be achieved through Will-O-Wisp onto Pokemon such as Mandibuzz and Ferrothorn that may struggle to break a substitute after being burned. Generation 8's removal of the move Pursuit allows the horse to freely spam status or attacking moves without the risk of being punished. Spectrier then boosts its stats, and a boosted Spectrier behind Substitute is incredibly dangerous in most situations. The Will-O-Wisp set can be walled by normal types, but what makes Spectrier truly annoying and difficult to prepare for is that your team might not be prepared for the specific set your opponent brings. For example, you can have Shadow Ball Blissey as your Spectrier counter, but that set would lose to Calm Mind Dark Pulse due to failing to break its sub. You can also use the simple Teleport Blissey into a Pokemon that threatens Spectrier out tactic, but with Pheromosa's departure, it's not easy to pivot between U-turn and teleport around Spectrier. Similarly, Hyper Beam can effectively KO many common checks, such as Hydreigon and Mandibuzz after minimal chip damage on them. Due to this, Spectrier is incredibly restrictive in the sense that it can pick and choose its counters. It should be mentioned that the other faster Pokemon in the tier also struggle versus Calm Mind Spectrier, with Dragapult having to trade its life for a Thunderbolt or damage, and Zeraora losing most of its HP breaking Substitute with a physical move. Before the rise of Substitute Spectrier, the most commonly spammed set was Choice Specs. No one can deny how strong Choice Spec Spectrier is in the metagame, oftentimes forcing people to use Hydreigon and normal types. Furthermore, if paired with status-spreading Pokemon, Spectrier having an instant Choice Spec boosted Hex was an insane threat to deal with, even being able to put a major dent in its most common counter, Hydreigon. Choice Specs was used for raw breaking, but its popularity has certainly decreased since people discovered how good boosting was. Now, I definitely agree that Substitute Spectrier is very, very, very threatening, especially given the fact that it does have access to some really good setup moves, and it also just, in general, has a very, very good set to work with, being the sub setup set with, of course, either having access to Will-O-Wisp or a coverage move, and also your main stab being Shadow Ball or Hex if you are using Will-O-Wisp in combination. However, I still argue that the limitations of its offensive move pool is definitely a factor against this Pokemon, and something else I kind of want to mention as well. Its defense stat is not that good. It's only base 60, so any physical move from a powerhouse that's able to live a hit from this thing could potentially knock it out, especially if it's super effective. Keep in mind, it does have some exploitable weaknesses, such as the likes to the Ghost and Dark type weaknesses, as well as the fact that base 60 defense, like I said, is not really that good. Now, despite its flaws, it seems like that this Pokemon does know how to take care of itself, even with its limited move pool and its limitations in general. In fact, like, I actually love running sub-calm mindsets on this thing because it actually allows for me to not only substitute when I am able to force on a switch, but I'm actually able to set up some Calm Minds, so that way not only am I setting up to be an offensive sweeper, but with Calm Mind also boosting your special defense, I also am able to be kind of like a special tank in a sense, even though that's not really the purpose of Spectrier. It's not meant to be a tank in any sort, but with Calm Mind boosting special attack and special defense, you reap the rewards of being both an offensive presence and also a semi-decent defensive presence as well from a special defensive standpoint. The issues listed above encompass the main reason why Spectrier can be seen as too much for the OU tier. One may argue that it actually struggles with breaking versus teams with Hydreigon or normal types, but it still has a move pool capable enough to break either. Despite this, the fact that every balanced or bulkier team is required to use a bulky dark type or a normal type speaks to volumes about Spectrier's presence in the tier. It is comparable to the past Dracovish, which either dented a hole in any team or was walled by Seismitoad. Additionally, a key similarity between the two is that the Dapper Fish's partner can set it up easily through luring Seismitoad or chipping the Toad endlessly. What one really has to consider about Spectrier is the fact that it is a 6 versus 6 team game. Sets ranging from more extreme moves such as Focus Punch Nidoking to common threats such as Heatran's combination of Magma Storm and moves like Taunt and Toxic support Spectrier easily. There is infinite support for the horse through surprise breaking and status spam, all to set up the horses in the back. Now, something in this paragraph here that really jumps out at me would be their comparison of Spectrier to Dracovish. And I can understand where they're coming from here, but at the same time, I don't fully agree here, and this is why. So Dracovish, even though it was a one-trick pony with Vicious Rend, there were Pokemon that, despite resisting Vicious Rend, would still take a massive dent from that move. The only way that you could avoid damage completely from that move was if you had an ability that was water absorbent, so something like Storm Drain or something like Water Absorb, which is more limited to like a very few amount of Pokemon. But when it comes to dark and normal type Pokemon, they are more plentiful in comparison. Now, I want to go on Pokemon Showdown here real quick, and just to show you guys a few examples of, in my honest opinion, really good Pokemon that not only can stand up against Spectrier, but also have benefits for your team in other ways. As an example, we got Hydreigon, a Dark Dragon type, you know, really good stats overall. We have ourselves Zarude, which might not be OU, but it does have really good stats to make use of if you want to use it in OU. Umbreon, one of my all-time classic favorites, even though it's not seen hardly at all in OU. This Pokemon is still really fun to use and has a lot of good purposes. Grimmsnarl. I absolutely love this Pokemon right here, and while it does have to watch out for burn, in fact, all of these Pokemon really have to watch out for the Will-O-Wisp burn, this Pokemon right here is able to stand up against Spectrier, especially given the fact that it has Dark and Fairy, so it's able to resist both its Ghost and Dark type coverage. And the thing is as well, we also ourselves Galarian Moltres, a Dark Flying type, that not only resists its Ghost and Dark type coverage, but takes nothing from Mudshot, and also, while it does have to watch out for the stray Hyper Beam here and there, look at that special defense, especially when you slap an Assault Vest on this thing. This Pokemon right here is able to take special hits like you wouldn't believe. And we also ourselves a Crocodile here, which might seem like a bit of an unorthodox pick, but I love running Crocodile from time to time. And here's a few examples of normal type Pokemon that would be good to use in battle. You got Blissey as well as Chansey. We'll lump the two of them together because both of them pretty much serve the same purpose of being a special sponge, as well as being a good team cleric. We have ourselves Obstagoon here. Now, this is a really good Pokemon, and honestly, with Guts, this Pokemon is an absolute terror. So, go ahead, Spectrier, try to burn me with Will-O-Wisp. Guts is going to activate, and you are going to be destroyed. Not to mention as well, Dark and Normal, that type combination resists Ghost and Dark. In fact, its normal typing is actually immune to your Ghost type offense. We have Snorlax here that as well is a special sponge to a lesser extent like Blissey, but it also has really good physical attack as well and amazing coverage. And we got Porygon 2, the good old classic Eviolite Porygon 2, that would be able to tank hits from Spectrier if it really needed. However, Spectrier is clearly not a flawless Pokemon. While its typing provides a solid offensive presence, only being resisted by Dark types and not being able to touch normal types, but it also makes Spectrier weak to the all-too-common move Knockoff. Many Pokemon in OU run knockoffs, such as Clefable, Landorus, and Toxapex. If Spectrier ever receives a flat knockoff, its long-term presence and effectiveness decreases exponentially. Having leftovers removed limits its boosting ability and also forces chip on it through hazards, status, and weather. Additionally, the prominent boosting set starts off weaker due to its EVs being invested in bulk for more reliable setup. If this is called out early, Spectrier could struggle to gain its footing and prepare a sweep. Additionally, while it has incredible offensive stats, Spectrier is relatively frail with a base defense of 60. This can be voided by using Will-O-Wisp and investing into HP and defensive stats, allowing it to maintain its substitute. However, it also means that Spectrier can practically never switch in to any moves. As mentioned numerous times, it also has common answers such as Blissey and Hydreigon, which can be used to counter other prominent threats in the metagame. Blissey is a complete special sponge, easily switching into the strongest attacks from Pokemon such as Magearna. Hydreigon is another frequently used Pokemon, often used to counter a major metagame threat in Heatran. these Pokemon also have their own way of dealing with the horse, with Shadow Ball and Snarl on Blissey and Hydreigon respectively. However, similar to how Spectrier is not flawless, these counters are not as well, and can be annoyed and dealt with through Spectrier's teammates. The combination of its restrictiveness and sweeping potential stated previously is the reason the OU Council has decided Spectrier is worthy of a suspect test. And that is a fair point to make. Spectrier isn't flawless, and its counters are not flawless either. No Pokemon is ever flawless. And the thing is that you win some and you lose some. No matter how good your team is, you're not going to be able to win every single battle. You're going to run into instances where you're either going to be outplayed by the better battler, or you're going to be outmatched when it comes to your opposing Pokemon that you're battling with. Like, you might not be able to have counters with X or Y or Z Pokemon, even though your team has a lot of good things on it. There is no possible way that your team of 6 Pokemon can counter every single other Pokemon in the metagame. There's absolutely no way. But with all of that being said though, ladies and gentlemen, what are your guys' thoughts and opinions about this suspect test? This video kind of went on a little bit longer than anticipated, but if I was to give my honest, overall thoughts when it comes to either ban or no ban, I don't think this thing needs to be banned. I'm just gonna be straight up with you right now. I do not think this thing needs to be banned. As a matter of fact, there is something that I kind of wanted to mention here real quick now that we're on the subject of suspect tests. And that something is this. We just had ourselves Urshifu-Single-Strike being banned from OU, and prior to that, we also ended up having ourselves Pheromosa being banned from OU. So it seems like there's a little bit of a pattern going on. I'm not sure if it's just my own observations or if I'm going crazy or something like that, but something that I've been starting to notice here is that with all of these suspect tests that are happening seemingly left and right, it's almost kind of activating a bit of a reverse power creep, because check me out on this. So as an example, with ourselves Pheromosa being the top tier threat, well, it was top tier enough in order for it to be suspect tested. That thing got banned, and then of course the next best thing rose up to the top, being Urshifu-Single-Strike. Now that thing got banned, and now that allows for the next best thing to rise to the top, and now be in contention for possible banning from OU, that of course being Spectrier. Now, I do understand at the same time what Smogon is trying to do. They're trying to keep things balanced and healthy and all that stuff, but I would say don't take out all of the offensive threats. Don't take out all of the offensive presence in OU, otherwise the battles are going to be leaning towards more stall. It's going to be more in favor of stall-based battles, which is not really my thing, but, that's just my own opinion. I am a fast-paced, balls to the walls type of battler. I love hyper offense. I love balance as well. But, the thing is that, if you keep banning all of these heavy hitters, stall is inevitably going to rise up in terms of the preferred playstyle. And that in itself is something that would probably not sit well with a lot of people, because if we remember back to how Gen 7 was, man, Gen 7 OU got stale very fucking quick, you know what I mean? Like, before the first year of Gen 7, the battles were just nothing but stall. Like, from my own experience, it was just nothing but stall, and that's why I kind of quit doing competitive, because it's just like, well, I kind of don't want to deal with that, you know what I mean? Like, I want to have, some offense here. I want to be, see, people actually use predictions and use, high-risk strategies and stuff like that, rather than relying on safety net type of strategies with, using stall and stuff like that, and soaking up hits, not really doing much, being passive and all that stuff. But again, these are just my own opinions, feel free to disagree. It's just from my own experience. But what do you guys think, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think of all of what we talked about here in this video? Are you guys in agreement of the suspect test, or do you disagree with the suspect test? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? Please feel free to conversate with me in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. At the end of the day, these are just my own opinions and observations. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have yourself a damn good one, and as always, your boy will see you guys in the next video.